right, let's dive right into this explainer and figure out exactly how to define who you want to be. We're going to borrow an unshakable, ancient Stoic framework and apply it directly to your modern goals. Because, let's face it, everybody wants to achieve great things, but without a clear direction, it's just way too easy to fall victim to distractions and completely lose your way. Listen to this incredibly tough question the ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus posed to his students over 2,000 years ago. How long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? Wow, that hits just as hard today, doesn't it? We really have to confront our own complacency here. Because too often, day after day, we find ourselves just kind of going through the motions instead of demanding our absolute best. And so what actually happens when we just go through the motions without a clear target? Well, we basically roll out the red carpet for procrastination, chaos, and decision fatigue. When you're just winging it, you become a victim of your circumstances. You get blown around by daily noise, reacting to minor issues, constantly scrambling to put out fires, and that decision fatigue, wasting all that precious mental energy just deciding what to do first, it literally evaporates your motivation. Okay, let me ask you a really direct question. What is your grand strategy for life? Seriously, think about it for a second. If you don't have an end in mind, how can you possibly know what to say yes to? And honestly, more importantly, what to ruthlessly say no to? If you just keep winging it, you are practically guaranteeing that you will never end up where you actually want to be. To cut through all that chaos, we're going to look at a brilliant 5-step framework derived from Stoicism. Setting goals you control, paring down your ambitions, being specific, trusting the process, and finally, taking action. Let's start right off with step 1, set goals you actually control. The core Stoic belief is that goals aren't just external achievements. They are the ultimate tools for your own character building. You absolutely have to separate what's up to you from what isn't. Take the author Mark Manson, for example. When he was writing the follow-up to his massively successful debut book, he felt totally paralyzed by the pressure. But then he had this huge realization. Book sales, fan reactions, those are completely out of his control. There is no point stressing over them. So he shifted entirely to his internal scorecard. His only goal was simply to put in the effort to write a better book. You can free yourself from a ton of anxiety by focusing entirely on what's actually up to you. And top performers in high-pressure environments use this exact same separation. Look at the legendary Super Bowl winning coach Bill Walsh. He used to script the first 25 plays of his football games the night before. He completely refused to rely on in-the-moment motivation when the pressure was cranked up. Instead, he relied on a predetermined plan to box out the early game chaos. That is exactly how you execute perfectly on what you can control. Step 2 builds right on that. Don't set too many goals. Trying to do a million things at once just leads to what the Stoics called the restlessness of a hunted mind. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius used this rapid-fire wisdom all the time. Is this necessary? It's such a great filter. When we try to be everything to everyone, our attention completely splinters. By eliminating the inessential things in your life, you actually gain the immense power to do the essential things far, far better. Flash forward to today, and we see the exact same philosophy with actor Matthew McConaughey. He found himself running a production company, a music label, a foundation, and an acting career all at the same time. And he came to this profound realization. He said, I was making B's in 5 things. I want to make A's in 3 things. So he actually shut down his music label and his production company just to focus purely on what mattered most. Now, once you've narrowed your focus, step 3 is absolutely vital. Be incredibly specific. Simply saying you want to read more or get in shape just doesn't cut it. Those vague goals usually miscarry because they have no specific aim. The crucial point here is that you need what scientists call an implementation intention. I know it sounds a little academic, but it's basically the ultimate scientific cure for those fuzzy, unstructured ambitions. It simply means taking your goal and explicitly writing down the exact day, the exact time, and the exact place you are going to execute it. If you doubt how powerful this actually is, get this data from the British Journal of Health Psychology. When people just had a vague goal to exercise more, only about 35% actually followed through consistently. But when they used an implementation intention, literally just writing down exactly when and where they would exercise, that success number skyrocketed to 91%. Specificity doesn't just help a little bit, it practically guarantees a massive jump in your success rate. Moving on to step 4. trust the process. Staring down a really huge goal can be incredibly overwhelming, right? So the Stoic approach requires us to detach from the sheer enormity of the final result. 7 seconds. Coach Nick Saban built an unparalleled college football dynasty by realizing that the average play in football only lasts 7 seconds. He forced absolute laser-like focus on this concept. He taught his players to completely ignore the big picture and literally ignore the championship. Their only job was to entirely dominate just the 7 seconds of the current play right in front of them. And this modern coaching tactic echoes Marcus Aurelius perfectly. He reminded us that we must assemble our lives action by action. Excelling at literally anything is simply a matter of taking one small step and then another, even when you really don't feel like it. You don't build a massive brick wall all at once. You lay one brick perfectly, over and over again. And to help you trust that process, don't be afraid to use a mantra. NBA champion Paul Gasol used the phrase "pound the rock" to stay resilient during those grueling, exhausting seasons. And let me tell you, these aren't just cheesy self-help quotes. They are vital psychological backstops used by elite professionals to prevent backsliding when things get brutally hard. You just have to find your 7-second focus and pound the rock. Which brings us to our final step, step 5. Be adaptable and take action. This is all about the absolute necessity of swallowing your pride just to get started and build that initial momentum. Think about the incredible start to Amelia Earhart's career. She was offered the chance to be the first woman on a historic transatlantic flight, but it came with, honestly, offensive conditions. She'd get 0 pay, and she wouldn't even be allowed to actually fly the plane. But you know what? She swallowed her pride and said yes anyway. She knew that to achieve her ultimate goal, she just needed to start, anyhow and anywhere, just to gain that vital, unstoppable momentum. Because sometimes the path to our goals requires us to adapt, just like Marcus Aurelius did. He was a quiet, bookish philosopher by nature, but when he learned he was going to be forced into the role of Roman emperor, he adapted. He didn't complain that it wasn't his preferred path. He was willing to sweep the floors, change his natural inclinations, and do whatever it took to become the ultimate philosopher king. So, let's bring the whole shebang together. Achieving your goals isn't about sitting around wishing for perfect moments or waiting for the stars to perfectly align. It's about having clear eyes, deciding exactly who you will be, and then doing the rigorous step-by-step work. As Epictetus advised, you must undergo the hard winter training. Don't rush into things unprepared, but rather commit to the relentless daily execution of your plan. I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Which of these Stoic strategies are you going to apply today? Are you going to finally pare down that endless list of tasks? Are you going to focus entirely on dominating your own 7-second process? Seriously, stop waiting for tomorrow. Pick a strategy right now, apply it to your life, and demand the best for yourself today.